Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Alana from W1N and welcome to this little chat. As you know, I love talking to interesting people who are in the mining industry, who are doing things that can actually help other people. My guest today is Ashley Wilson, who runs the Bali FIFO page. He's also on TikTok. He works in the mining industry. He's just started YouTube. Mate, Ash, welcome to this. Thanks for coming on today on a Saturday of all days.
Yep. Thank you very much for having me. It's
Amazing.
always the weekend when you're in Bali.
Yeah, I know, right? You're so lucky. So basically, like the reason why I've got you on today is a lot of people, the cost of living in Perth is ridiculous. Like everyone wants to get into the mining industry, but then like to try to get a house is like ridiculous as well. And what you're doing, I think, is absolutely awesome, which is promoting the fact that there are alternative lifestyles. Like you can potentially still be doing FIFO in WA or wherever, and also like living in Bali where the cost of living is significantly more affordable than in Perth. So tell me about that, Ash. Let's start there.
Yeah, well, it is. That's why it's not the cost of living. It's the lifestyle is the reason I live over here. Yeah, the cost of living is significantly cheaper. You know, I'm not a tourist, it's home. So I treat it like home. Part of the reason I'm trying to reduce the cost of living is so I can save more money for my retirement. I'm still a fair way off. I'm a young fella. And so it's good. But yeah, the lifestyle, cost of living, the weather. Yous are all back there in Australia in the middle of winter. I'm sitting up here for the next 2 weeks in shorts and a t-shirt and enjoying every bit of it.
Cut it out. Yeah, no, agreed. It's bloody freezing over here. I can't handle this. Yesterday it was 8 degrees in the morning when I started work. I was like, no way. Anyway, all right, great. Well, obviously you've got the Bali FIFO Life group that you've got going on. What's the whole intention behind that group?
To give people the information that they require to come up here and spend time. There's a lot of FIFO workers who do come up here, and there's a lot of FIFO workers out there who do want to come up here. So we give information regarding if you've got a family, how you move your family up here. It's a great community. Everybody helps everybody. We're not an advertising page. We're not a tourist page. We're all about assisting FIFO workers and their families to come through. Part of that page, though, and this was where our connection come in with yourselves, was there's a lot of people who want to get into FIFO. Yeah. I'm not a recruiter. That's your job. Yeah. And or, you know, part of your mission with your company is to assist people who want to get into FIFO. Yes, that's basically it. And, yeah. So we had a lot of people there who were saying, well, how do I get into FIFO? How do I do this? I want to live in Bali. I want to have that lifestyle. So yeah, it was. It's a good synergy between the two of us to work together to assist those people and the community out there who want to live like that. Yeah, 100%. And I'm noticing as well the amount of people who are asking about it. And I'm like, look, go to Ash's website, look here, or a Facebook group here, like blah, blah, blah. Like, here's all the information that you need to like make that transition from like not like getting out of like the suburbs of Perth or wherever and actually having the right information to go and live in Bali to save them some money, because it's just ridiculous over here at the moment. But yeah, well, you know, me and Mark English, who's also one of the moderators on the site, we've made all the mistakes. So we can help people avoid those mistakes. And as I said before, there's many within the community who live up here who have also made those mistakes and can give some great advice about moving up here and living. Yeah, and I love your Facebook group as well. It's so supportive of everyone. There's no like little trolls on there. Everyone's all there to help each other with the right purposes. So that's, I think it's really great. That's what right, you yeah. So, all right. Well, we've known each other for a while now. Tell me, how long have you been working in the mining industry? How did you get in? What are you doing now? I was a late starter to the mining industry. I spent 30 years in the marketing, sales, corporate world, selling fuel and oil. I woke up one morning. I think a lot of salesmen wake up in the morning one day and go, I just can't do this anymore. So I thought, I'm going to do FIFO. So how did I get into it? My first job was with a landscaping company. So we did the landscaping infill up in Crawford when I did all the work up there. So that was actually a 4-1 gig. So that was a big introduction to FIFO. I thought I could do better. That job come to an end. I went out and got my HRB. And I think they call it a T extension now to drive the buses. I'm not quite sure. I think it's all changed.
Yeah.
And I started. I had no experience, no background in FIFO. You know, people would look at my resume and go, "Well, this guy's a salesman. How's he going to work in FIFO?" So I had to change my resume a bit, but we'll cover that later. Yeah. And then I just kept applying for the hospitality companies. I thought that is always a good foot in the door. You don't need multiple skills. I had my HRB so I could drive a bus. Not that I'd ever driven a bus, but I had it. And I started my first job with one of the hospitality companies at the mine site that I'm still at. So I started off as the bus driver, the yardie. We'd work in the kitchen. It was good. I actually enjoyed hospitality. It was a good all-round job and you had something different going on every day. So that was 7 years ago. The good thing about being in the hospitality is that you get to network with all the other people on site.
Yeah.
And I did that and I kept networking and then I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and I got my opportunity to become a dumpy driver, a greenie on site.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, and I've been doing that ever since. That's a quick background. I suppose we segue to the way that I had to change my resume to suit. Yep. You know, it's become more and more noticeable nowadays that they look at the algorithms and they're picking out the keywords and everything like that. So I did have a background in hospitality. Anyway, I always did that part-time on weekends and worked as a barman and a yardie in pubs and stuff like that. So I threw that into my resume.
Yeah.
To make it, you know, more, what's the word? So it looked like they pick up the word hospitality. They pick up the word bus driver. They pick up the word HRB. So they're looking at the licenses, they're picking up all those key words. So, and I think that helped me a lot to be able to do that. But back in those days, there wasn't companies like yourself who were very professional and just focused on helping people with their resumes get into FIFO.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And it's such an industry now, you know what I mean? But I guess that was my passion of like the whole time, and this is how this business was created by default, but it was just what I was doing on the side to help people out. And I didn't realize how massive and integral it was until I started in recruitment. And that was like, wow, like, you know, working with applicant tracking systems and just seeing the difference it makes and what resumes get through and what don't is just phenomenal. So yeah, it's been really great. And I love what you just said then about the utility side, right? There's so many people who just discount it and they're like, nah, I'm not going to like go out and work in the kitchen or anything like that. But it's most people's way, like foot in the door, and it's never the final destination unless you make it that. Like, so I think it's a great attitude to have to really reinforce that.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, look, definitely. No doubt about it. So if you're keen and serious about getting into FIFO, you will take any opportunity, and you've got no experience, you'll take the opportunity that's placed in front of you. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Definitely.
And it also gives you a good insight to what the FIFO lifestyle is like. You know, you may not like it. Not everybody likes, you know, having to work a 12-hour day, 2 weeks a year, or 2 weeks at a time, being away from their family. They come up there, and you do see it a lot. They go, "This just isn't for me."
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? Like, it's so funny that you should say that, because I actually think, like, the harder you work, and the utilities, they work the hardest on site, without a doubt. They're the lowest paid, yet they work the hardest. And then I'm sure you'd agree, once you start moving into like the operator side, you're actually doing an easier job. I'll like just chuck it out there. Easier, and you get paid a shit ton more money. So it's like, how does this work? Like, so yeah. But
yeah, totally agree. About especially the pay rate that they get. It's still decent money nowadays, but yes, they look at ourselves and they look at the other operators on site and go, and I'm no more skilled than what the person or the lovely people that clean my room and make my bed and cook my food and look after me for the 2 weeks that I'm up there.
Yeah.
It just is what it is, but it is a good foot in the door. I was still living up here. I had plenty of money, and I was still saving money, and I was still living up here as a hospitality worker.
Yeah. It's all about the money that you keep. You can be earning $1 million a year. Not that anyone in FIFO does that, but if you're spending $1,000,001, you're poor. So, and like, I loved it as well. You get to go out there. You can, especially like on the 4-in-1s, the longer rosters, like what you and I both did, you can go out there and spend not 1 cent the whole swing, and you're just getting cashed up to the back. So yeah, financial side of it's so important, I think. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, tip for new starters: keep away from the wet mess. It'll take all your money.
Yeah, and don't buy jet skis. Just go to Bali and jump on and hire one.
All right, what do you want to cover next?
Yeah, what would you say for somebody new to the industry? What's the best and worst thing about working in the mining industry?
The best thing is the lifestyle. So I work on a 2-2 roster, and that's really good for me. Yeah, even on a 2-1 roster, it's really good, especially if you're based out of Perth. That is the best. Yes, the income that can provide, that also gives you a great lifestyle. The time it gives you off, if you want to pursue other things in life, it gives you the opportunity to do that. If you do it right, it's a great way to spend extra time with your family. You have 3 weekends in a row, especially if you have a young family.
Yeah.
The offside of that is, it is very hard to be away from your family for those 2 weeks. So it's a matter of setting up proper times for you to be able to talk to your partner, talk to your children, using the technology we have today, just like me and you are talking across the oceans. And making sure that you have that set routine. What I noticed, or what I do notice a lot, what I do notice a lot is that you'll come home from FIFO and your family have a set routine. You've been away for 2 weeks and you come back and you upset that routine. So make sure that you discuss it, and how you don't walk in and just upset. Work out how you do it. So I know myself. I come back up here, and I've been away from my partner for 2 weeks, and I come back and she's running a business and everything, and I'm just going out and going off and hanging out, and it upsets her routine at the same time. So
I'm on the flip side of that.
Through those issues.
It's hard. It's all about the communication when you're on site and when you're back home. Like I do the same. I run my business from my house, and my other half does FIFO 3-in-1. When he gets back, it's just like, get out of my office. I'm working. I'm on a Zoom meeting. So you
get out of my space.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, go back to work. But yeah, it's all about that communication. So yeah, that can definitely be one of the biggest challenges for people new to the FIFO industry, like 100%. But tell us more about your job, Ash. What are you doing? What are you driving?
I'm a dump truck driver, and I am also a crew trainer. So we drive the new 830 E5s.
Yep.
We also, the majority of our fleet is an MT 4400 setup. For those, Google these later, guys. I'm not going to go through and explain everything to you. I'm also passed out on the full mechanicals and the like.
Yeah.
I'm happy in my role, and I'm happy in my role to support the younger guys coming through, as opposed to me wanting to jump into a dozer or a digger, or there is multiple opportunities on a mine site to be able to do that. But I get a lot of satisfaction out of helping others achieve their goals.
Yeah.
That's mainly that's just who I am. As I said, I'm not. Everyone comes on site and they want to be on the loader, they want to be on the digger, they want to be on the dozer.
Yeah.
So
you're just killing.
I'm also passed out on the roller. The roller is pretty my happy place, because they usually, when you do the rolling, you're away from everybody else and nobody's harassing you, and you don't have to do the radio calls and everything else. And strangely enough, it's quite tough. You can see what you're doing throughout the course of the flattening things out. But look, it's mostly dump trucks for me and training. We're doing a lot of training at the moment while we ramp up our site. Some poor person gets to sit next to me in the truck for 80 hours while I give them advice on how to drive.
Oh, why not? So, that'd be fun.
And as they say, bad truck drivers make good trainers.
So, well, isn't it those who can't do train or supervise? Anyway,
sorry, what was that?
Can't. I've heard one of the sayings, those who can't do will be the trainers, or they'll be the supervisors. Oh, sorry to anyone who's a supervisor watching that. But
and I like to think of myself as being a confident truck driver. And when I get the younger crew up there, that's the first thing I say to them: please be confident, do not be cocky.
Yeah.
So that's a very important thing. Do not be cocky when you're driving a 2-story townhouse.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And you get a lot of people like that, hey, or just like kind of, bullshit their way in, and then next minute you find they don't know what an isolator switch is. So it can be an interesting industry, that's for sure. And what would you say, like the job that you're doing now? So you went from doing landscaping and then to bus driving, is that right? And then onto the trucks.
Yes, that's right.
That's exactly my path too. So that's why I say to people, don't discount utility roles. Just get your foot in the door. Like, go out and do what you and I did. Go and get your HR license. That's the number one ticket that I'd say for everyone to go and get, as opposed to all these other tickets that might not even be required in the industry, yet people go and think that it's going to streamline their way in. How have you found that? Like, do you need all these tickets to jump on the dozer or the loader?
No, and no. Look, I would suggest definitely you have your manual license.
Yeah.
But even that's sort of slowing down a little bit, because we're starting to notice all the LVs coming onto site autos now.
Yeah.
The ticket-wise, no. Not unless you intend to work in the eastern states. The eastern states have a lot more regulations in regards to having your tickets than what we have here. And whether or not they'll bring that into the future, we don't know. But most of the bigger companies that you'll go get the opportunity to go work for are all registered training organisations anyway. Yeah. So I don't see any reason why you could not talk to them once you're passed out to actually apply that ticket. In saying that, if you're going to go to drilling, if you're interested in going to the drillers offsider, and that's another position that you can step into if you want to get into that. And drilling can take you to drill and blast, a whole range of opportunities through that area. And for any of the ladies who watch this, don't be shy. I'd say 50% of our drill and blast crew on site are female.
Wow, that's awesome.
And they work as hard as anybody else. and a lot of them, there's no way I'd arm wrestle them. So don't, just because you think you're a female, don't think that you can't get into drilling and or maintenance or a whole range of things that were probably looked upon as being dull, male-dominated areas in the past.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that sort of thing anymore. I don't think.
Don't get the ticket, but spend some time. There's multiple YouTube videos, websites. Have a look at the if you get the opportunity for an interview, have a look at the site that you're going to or the company you're going to work through, and have a look at their fleet. Learn about the trucks that you're going to drive. Get some sort of back knowledge around it. You can go out and spend $2,000 on a dump truck ticket that these companies run, but it teaches you get to sit in a truck. If you spend $2,000 to sit in a truck, you might as well take your money to the Royal Show.
Yeah. Take it to the cast, put it on red.
Yeah, but it doesn't teach you how to back under a digger. It doesn't teach you how to back into the crusher. It doesn't teach you how to back into the back up to a windrow. It does not teach you what to do when your truck starts going sideways down a ramp because it started raining all of a sudden. The only thing you get that teaches you that is experience.
Yeah.
And an experienced truck driver sitting beside you, assisting. So yes, the tickets, no. Don't spend the money. Hey, if you want to spend $2,000, send it my way. I'll take it. I'll send you some great videos.
Yeah, or like I agree with that. Like, find out more information about the job before you do it. Like, we've got a whole series in our YouTube channel about like people like yourself doing a full analysis of what their job is, how they got it, and like what a typical day looks like for them when they are doing that job, and what tickets that they actually needed. And again, you would be shocked and appalled at how many tickets you don't need. Like I always say, if you're going to drop some cash anywhere, drop it on a good resume, drop it on like an HR driver's license. That'll open so many more doors than getting a loader and a dozer and a grader ticket and all that sort of stuff. Although if you are going to do that, or you need to, contact us and you can use our affiliate code with the companies that we use, right? For people who do still want to go off and do that. All right. So what's your number one tip for somebody who's wanting to get into the mining industry?
Get your resume right, for starters. Do, I'm going to say due diligence, do some study around where you want to go and where you want to step into it. Be ready to start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? As I said to my own children when they were growing up, you don't start at the top. You've got to push the broom. You've got to sweep the floor.
Yeah. Got to be a utility.
Yep. So be prepared for that. If you've got an ego, you don't think you can handle that, especially if you drop into hospitality, you don't want to scrub a toilet, you don't want to do these things. Be prepared to suck it up and start at the bottom, because managers and supervisors will notice the people who will jump in and do anything and help out the team, as opposed to the person who shies away from the dirty jobs.
Yeah, or that's not part of my job description person. I'm sure we all know that person.
Yep. Yeah, and you see, you put a post up the other day saying, "Oh, everybody wants to be a dump truck driver." Yeah. Yeah, everybody wants to be a dump truck driver. Guess what? We don't all start as dump truck drivers unless your dad's a supervisor.
100%.
You just don't get that opportunity. You've got to start somewhere to get on site.
Yeah.
And get that FIFO experience. And don't, I talk about dump truck driving, I'm talking about production mining.
Yeah.
Don't forget, there's another whole side to it, processing as well. So we've talked about production, we've talked about hospitality, the third part is processing. And a lot of those processing jobs are sitting in a room with computers, making sure all the systems are going right. But the people who got those jobs started off with the fire hose, cleaning down the stairwells and cleaning off the mills and
doing the hard yards.
Starting there. Yep. There's three distinct areas that you can get into in mining. Production, where we take the dirt out of the ground. hospitality, where they look after the people who get that dirt out of the ground, and processing. And so there's a third area to look upon. Just have a look around at the opportunities that are out there. Dump truck driving may not suit you. Let me tell you, it is so boring. You sit in a truck by yourself for 11 hours. You've got your USB music, and I don't care how many songs you download, you still hear the things about 5 times a swing.
Yeah.
I think
that's if you're allowed that. Some sites crack down on that. You can't have your phone, you can't have your anything. So it can be very boring. Well, I could never handle that.
Yep. And look, the crackdowns for safety. Look, I've seen idiots on their phone, picking up their phone while they're driving a truck. I don't like that. I'm the idiot coming the other way.
Yeah.
So, but if you do get into that part of it, make sure you download a lot of songs off USB on your USB and plug them in.
Agreed.
So you can listen to that side of it.
I used to love that. Can I? Back in the day when I was driving water carts on a civil site, which is another option, really fantastic. That was the best job ever because we could have our phones in there. Not that you're meant to be touching your phone, obviously, but it was just such an opportunity to learn, to use that time to obviously be doing your job, but then still learn languages, listen to books on tape, documentaries. It was amazing. It's like you're getting paid to learn stuff, which I found was fantastic. So if you're on a site like that where you're lucky enough to be able to do that and listen to the USB, then it's all about perspective, I think.
Yeah, and I think the big thing too is think about safety. That's a big tip in the mining industry. Please, for the safety of yourself and others, study up on the safety regulations for the mining industry. Whether, again, hospitality have their own rules of safety. Processing have their own rules of safety. We have our own rules of safety. You want to end your 2-week swing, go home to your family and enjoy your break.
Yeah.
We're all there at the end of the day to make a living. If you don't want to injure yourself in the worst case scenario. So study up on your safety. Think about it.
Yeah.
That's another big tip, something I really push and pursue.
Definitely. And love that safety aspect of it, because some people would go, oh, but I'm going to do all these take 5s. Reframe your mind around that. So you get to sit there for 5 minutes doing a take 5, thinking about your safety, having a drink of water, having a ciggy if that's your thing. So yeah, agreed on that one. I know for a lot of time when I was in the mines for 16 years, I was like, oh God, got to do another JHA or mandatory hazard reporting and stuff like that. But then it's all about, hang on, but if this allows me to, 1, keep my job, and 2, go home safely at the end of the shift, then what's the point? You've got to embrace that side of it, I think.
There's a legal requirement around it for the companies.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a requirement for yourself. Everyone to go, it's a legal requirement for the company, we're just signing off on it. Yeah, of course there is. And that's the Department of Mines. They make sure that happens now. But at the end of the day, there's a requirement for yourself to do it.
Definitely.
And I think that's probably something we could have a whole wrong conversation on that one. We'll do that one on TikTok.
Yeah, let's do that on TikTok. Speaking of, if you're still watching this now, follow Ash on TikTok. I'll drop his link down the bottom. I'll drop mine as well. We are actually doing a live at 11 a.m. on the 29th of June on TikTok. Come and follow us both so you can, I don't know who's going to spark it off, but we're going to be answering all your questions on mining, doing FIFO from Bali, and just all your other questions of how to get into the mining industry, resumes, career consultation, whatever it is. You can ask Ash about his dump truck job, how he got it.
As opposed to sitting in my room in my apartment, I'll go find somewhere nice and tropical to sit in just to make you feel better.
Oh God, I might fly over there and we'll sit there together. That'll be great. Yeah, why don't come over for the weekend? That'd be good. Tell me about what are your thoughts on the industry going autonomous? Because that's something that a lot of people are like, oh, but should I still go into dump trucks? What about the autonomous side?
It'll never go fully autonomous, and there's a lot of mine sites that just can't go autonomous because the trucks wouldn't do it. So Roy Hill's been saying they're going to go fully autonomous for how many years now, and they're still hiring truck drivers.
Yeah.
So there'll always be a need for truck drivers. There's always going to be a need for loader ops, everything. Let's just say autonomous isn't going to happen in my working life, and I can't see it happening in the working life 10 years after that. You know, autonomous don't like the weather. You know, they slide sideways and every truck on the site stops, and that slows down production. One truck breaks down, they all stop. Yeah. So, and I don't know the figures, and that's probably something I can look into and answer at a later date. But for every 3 autonomous trucks, you need a fitter. You need a handler to go out there if a rock's fallen off the truck to push that rock away. You need someone to go jump in that truck and drive it if it stops somewhere and get it back into the right position. Even though there's somebody sitting back in Perth on a computer running 4 or 5 trucks, you still got to have a certain amount of people on site to do that. So yeah, we got autonomous trucks, but we still have opportunities up there for people to fill those other roles that are needed to look after those autonomous trucks.
100%. So if you're worried about autonomous, like, don't be, because there's like what you just said, you could go be a fitter, like go get your HD, fitter, do a traineeship. Like there's so many more options. So yeah, 100%. Thanks for answering that one, Ash.
Yep.
I'm just trying to be mindful of your time here. Right, let's talk about the Bali side of it again. What's your best advice for somebody who's wanting to like make that transition from living in like expensive Perth or wherever to then potentially coming over to Bali, sourcing accommodation and all that sort of stuff?
Come up here and have a look to start with. All right. Firstly, yes, jump on the Bali FIFO Life page.
Yep.
And come up here, have a look around. If I always let people know via the page that I'm going to be here. So they're more than welcome to come meet me down at Wurrungatta. So that's my own little business over here, a little restaurant, or anywhere really. I'm quite happy to go sit down on the beach, put my feet in the sand and enjoy a cold bintang with you and have a chat. But use the page for what the page is for. The page is a community. And people will help you out. So you come up here and do everything. You may want to invest in a villa. So you're going to need the right advice about that. I can give you that advice. I can point you in the direction of the right people. Yeah. But then again, I would turn around and say to you, and you go find somebody else to talk to as well. So in that case, do your due diligence. Think about what sort of accommodation you want. And how much you're going to spend on accommodation. You can spend anything from $300 a month for a little apartment with shared cooking facilities to the sky's the limit, depending on how much you want to have in a villa and how many bedrooms you've got, or if you've got friends that you want to share that villa with while you're up here. Yeah. Have a look at, as a tourist, the cost of living up here can be quite expensive. As somebody lives here and knows the way around and knows where to do your shopping for your food, and like living up here is exceptionally cheap. I said I pay $300 a month for my unit. I pay about $50 a week $50 a month for electricity, and that's between the two of us, me and Ika. That's all we use. Electric wise. Getting around is cheap. So at the moment I do have my own scooter, but if you want to jump on the back of a little scooter boy, you'll pay $2 to go 15 minutes up the road. Wow. But it's knowing those sorts of things, and because like everywhere, they're trying to make a living. They'll try and drag as much out of your pocket as they possibly can. But talking to experienced people who live up here stops you from falling into those pitfalls. Yeah.
Well, that sounds way better than what's going on here at the moment. Even yesterday, my twin sister asked me to go and have a look at a house for a rental, and it was starting at 680 for this tiny little 4x2. I was like, what the hell? So basically $700 versus $300 for the, like, $700 per week versus 300 for the month is a massive saving, and that would totally counteract the flights that you would be paying going backwards, to and from Australia to then go FIFO, obviously.
Yeah, and do your budget. So, the flights aren't always the same price. You hit school holidays and it becomes astronomical to get the flights. Book your flights well in advance. But yes, come up here and see. Again, Bali's not for everybody.
Yeah.
On a 2-2 swing like myself, you have the option that you can go to spend those few extra hours on a plane and go to Thailand. You've got Vietnam, they're doing direct flights out of Australia to Vietnam. Very shortly, the direct flights will start again to the Philippines. So there's multiple options. They're a bit harder when you're only on a 2-1 swing. But a 2-2 swing, they're another option to look at as well.
Yeah.
But come up here first, spend a little time here, see if this is the place for you. I've been coming to Bali for 40 years now, and lived here 4 years before COVID, and come back as soon as COVID was over. So
yeah,
Bali's like I think we should give Bali a Perth postcode, because it's just like another suburb of Perth, really.
Pretty much. It's like Rottnest. May as well play
it. Postcode.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, but let's get that TikTok together, and let's hope lots of people see this. And guys, write any questions you want down, or keep them in mind. So when me and Alana go live on TikTok, we can answer those questions. I can answer the questions from the mining side of it, and so can Alana to a degree, but she can answer your questions about resumes,
recruitment,
job opportunities, what's coming up within the mining industry, who's doing what sites are ramping up. At the moment, gold is going ballistic because of the price of gold. So we're seeing a huge ramp up in the gold industry.
Yeah.
So there's all those sorts of things. Any questions you want to talk? Any questions about Bali? Any questions about any of the Asian countries? I speak to a lot of guys who live in the other countries as well, about what they're doing and how they're moving forward and what opportunities they're looking at as well. As I alluded to before, I'm actually a business owner up here as well. So if you've been up here and you're thinking about wanting to start a business up here, then ask questions about those. I won't go too in depth because it can get quite technical, but yeah, I'm quite sure me and Alana are happy to answer any questions regarding mining, FIFO Life.
Yeah, anything like that, whatever. 100%. Oh, we'll just shoot the shit for a while, which will be good. So the 29th of June, 11 a.m. Perth time, Ash and I are going to be going live. So I'm going to be dropping the links to my TikTok, his TikTok, Bali FIFO Life. Definitely go off and join that group if you are after some info on how to do FIFO from Bali, or just anything Bali related, really. Like the content on that website, keep calling it website, that Facebook group is just phenomenal. I go through it like, oh, where can I get this? Where can I do that? And I made my sister, who was in Bali a couple of weeks ago, like, jump on this Facebook group. It's so good. So yeah, my hat goes off to both of you guys for starting that. And we are definitely going to be doing a couple more things together. So stay tuned for that. Ash, anything else before I let you go?
Have a great afternoon.
100%.
I'm going to do probably about an hour's worth of work down at the coffee shop, and then I'm going to say I'm going to a meeting when I'm actually going to watch the football. But
yeah, I'm going to a meeting too.
Yeah, I think she worked that one out ages ago.
Yeah. Oh, meetings. Why are you on a meeting every time the football's on? No, 100%. Ash, look, thank you so much for jumping on. If you're watching now, all the links are below, and feel free to get in contact with us if you need any help, like getting into the mining industry, talking Bali, and we'll see you next Saturday for our TikTok live that we'll be doing. Ash, enjoy your bin tags.
Yep. All right, no worries. You enjoy your afternoon. See you later.
I will. Thanks, buddy. Bye.